Hey everyone, so let's go over some of the things I wish I knew before I started showing. Most importantly, getting the right horses for the class. Easiest way to do this is take and type out your class list and then pick the horses that you want to show in it. Now most shows will let you do 3 horses per class, some are 2, it just depends on the show. Always double check with the show holder to see what their limit is. So as you can see, I've got my class list printed out with all the horses I'm going to be showing. And then once you get your class list done, you're going to want to do your show cards. And most shows are fairly similar in that they want your class number at the top, your horse's name, breed, and gender, and some of them will have you put a code or your name on it, and it could be on the front, or sometimes they'll have you write it on the back. But you want to get your class list done, and then you want to get your show cards done. Once you do that, then you want to go through all your horses, and you want to make sure that each horse that you're taking has a tag. Because there could be, 10 horses that are exactly like yours in that class. So you want to make sure that you're going to be able to grab the right horse at the end of the show. So easiest thing, just put your horse's name on it, and then you can put your initials on the back or just leave it blank. But that way you know that you are grabbing your horse. Now let's talk as far as doing collectability classes. And every show will be different on what type of collectability classes they use. For right now, we'll just use the upcoming show that I'm going to as a template. So ours isn't offering too many collectability classes, but you have pre-2000 and post-2000 Breyer, pre and post 2010 for Stone, and then your other random collectability classes. Now when you're showing collectability, you want to make sure that you have a card or a printout or whatever that says why you believe that horse should be in that class. So we'll use him as an example of one that I'm taking for this show, and this is his card and why he's going in Breyer pre-2000 or 2000, and has mold number, mold name, model number, and model name, and then his color and what year he was produced to. That way whoever is judging that class will know, okay, so he was produced from 76 to 94. Just makes it easy, and you can take these cards and you can put them right back in your show box, which I'll go over that in a little bit. Same with your post-2000 collector's horse. So we'll use him as an example for the post-2000. And as you can see again, we don't have a mold number for him, but we have mold name, and then model number, what he was, and how we got him, and then what year he was. Now let's discuss a little bit on breed classes. And a lot of the molds, you can show them as more than one breed. So we'll use our little Albie as a reference for that. Now a lot of people will show him as Andalusian or Lusitano, but I myself, I like showing him as a Paso, and he does really good as a Pasofino. But you definitely want to have, a little bit of a knowledge of what each breed will look like, what colors they offer, and if you're not sure, just Google it. Or, go to the library, find a horse book that has all the different breeds and tells you a little bit about each one. But you could show Lusitano, Andalusian, Pasofino, Mustang. He's a very versatile breed, or mold. Same with this girl. You could show her as a quarter horse, as a Mustang, as a bucking horse, pretty much any stock breed, aside from paint, you could get away with showing her as. Now let's talk unusual color for a breed. So this one right here, I show her as an Appaloosa. Now, you're probably thinking, but that horse has no Appaloosa spots. How do you show her as Appaloosa? Now, this is where our reference papers come in handy. So, when you have references, I find it's just easier to keep everything in sleeves and keep them in a folder. Stays in the show box, and I don't have to worry about looking for it afterwards. So for her, we show her as an Appaloosa, but we show her under breeding stock or non-characteristic. And by non-characteristic, it means your horse is a solid Appaloosa, no spots, but it will throw spotted babies, or it will produce spotted babies. So as long as you have your information on why you're showing it as that, and then reference photos of a real horse that's shown that way, you can legitimately show it that way. Same with any other breed. We'll use another off-kilter one like thoroughbreds. Find that paper. So you have your regular thoroughbreds that can be pretty much any solid color. And same there, you know, you'll have your name. And then I usually will highlight the colors that they come in so that it makes it easier for the judge to glance at it and go, okay, that's why. Now, if you want to show a paint mold as a thoroughbred, there are pure-blooded thoroughbreds that are paint. So you could get away with showing somebody like this. Forgive his dust, he hasn't been dusted because he's not going this month. You could get away with showing him as a thoroughbred just because he's paint. And you have your reference on why you think he should be shown in that class. Now, let's move on to customs. For a lot of shows, they'll offer a wide range of custom classes for, you know, for your micros, to your stablemates, up to traditional size. And a lot of shows will have them broke down in their own division. So you'll have a division just for micros, a division just for stablemates, and then one for traditionals and classics. Other shows, as reference to the one I will be going to next, they are showing all scales in the same exact class, except micros. Micros do get their own division. But stablemates, traditionals, classics will all show in the same class. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the best of the best for your string when you go. Makes it easier to hopefully win. But there again, it's judged by people, and people have biases. So we'll go over showing minis, and I don't think my phone is going to cooperate and show him. But this little guy will end up going in the micro mini, probably Mustang class. Now, I won't leave his tag on him when he goes up, just for the simple fact he's so small and there's no way to attach it to where it's not going to be in the way. So for him, I just put a little sticker on the bottom with my studio initials so that I know that he's mine, even though it's highly unlikely that you'll have two of the exact same custom in a class. But it's for my own sanity. I just put the initials, and that way I can take his little tag off, leave it on my show table, and take him up to the show ring. Same goes for your stablemate sized, and you always want to go over them and see if anybody developed a little scuff or something, you know, between your last show and your next show. Like this poor thing, I don't know how he got it, but he's got a little tiny white spot there and there that I'm going to have to go back and cover up because I don't know how he got them. And we'll go over touching up factories and customs here in a bit. And then, you know, breed, Frisian, of course, because he is a Frisian. And then we got this girl. She shows as a Belgian. She's another one I'm going to have to touch up a little bit. Right there, just where she got scuffed in the last few months. And right there, but it's pretty easy to fix that. But we'll show her in Belgian, and she's, again, a custom. You see, we made her into a fat little pregnant mare, and we'll look at one of the original molds so you can kind of get an idea that, you know, she got a bit of a lower belly, and then looking from the top, she's a bit wider. Not too much. Now let's go over how I keep everything organized while I'm at the show. As I said before, you know, I have my class list printed out, and then I have my show cards that will go up with each horse printed out. And to go a step further, I keep everybody organized in a large, like, shoebox by, let's move this over here a bit. Now I have them divided up by scale, and then by mold in alphabetical order, and then each mold, if I have multiples of that mold, will get run down by what their actual model number is. And I do mine as color-coded, so I have orange for regular, everyday, you can find them anywhere models. I use blue for my custom horses. Green is for my store special only horses, so horses that were only made for Walmart or Target or Tractor Supply. And then I use yellow for all of my Breyerfest horses. And I use pink for all my club horses, so like the Stablemate Club, the Deluxe Club, Premier Collection, all of that. I just find it easier, it makes it easier for me to know who I can show in collectability and why I can show them there. And it also allows me to put any flat ribbons and NAN cards that they get, I can put it behind them so that if I decide I want to sell a horse, I can go, okay, there's that horse, and everything behind him is what he goes with. Now, if you do shows that also require you to have a COA on top of any written documentation, you can just keep your COA cards and anything you need for that in the box as well. My box is almost full, so it's about time to get a new box. But I just keep everything at the very back so that all I have to do is grab the card for that horse, and put both up there. Now, a lot of collectability classes will not require you to have breed documentation because it's going more so for the collectability side of that model, not breed standards. And some judges will look at both as equal parts, your breed standard and then your collectability standard. So, like, I wouldn't take this guy and show him as a draft horse, because there's no feasible way that he's draft. So you can't really get away with doing that in collectability. It's easier just to go, you know, he's showing in collectability because of his age, here's when he was made, and he shows as a thoroughbred, because that's how Breyer made him, is to be a thoroughbred. And then, if you want to break it down even further for your collectability, and say, you know, you have all your cards written up for keeping track of everybody. If you want to make it to where you don't have to dig through the cards to find the one that actually has the information on it, you can just take and make a second card that you can put with their show cards. So that you grab their show card and their reference card is right there with the show card, and you don't have to dig through your box and find that specific horse, and you can just keep those set to the side with all of your show horses that you do collectability with. Just have those cards set to the side with them so that you don't have to dig through and find the card last minute at the show. I've done that. It's not fun. But that's how I get ready for mine. I will go through and pick out my class, or make up my class list, pick out the horses that I'd like to go for that class, and then I'll go through and I'll just check for any flaws. So like if I have two of the same horse, I'll see, who has the least amount of flaws. Like her, she doesn't really have flaws, but she's got these little rough spots that like to hold fuzz. And then if you look at both of them and you see, well, neither one has any standout flaws, then you can go even further and go, well, whose shading do I like best? And go from there. And then pick based on shading. Now, if you're getting ready for a show and you've already made your class list and you're getting ready to pack everybody up because you looked at everybody, you didn't see any standout flaws, and you're in the middle of packing everybody up and you suddenly notice, oh no, the horse that I'm taking has a bent leg. As you can see, if you look at him from the side, you can't tell. It looks fine. But you look at him from the front and his leg is a little warped. You can either do a quick fix with a heat gun, just lightly get it warm, and then ever so slightly turn it back so that it's nice and straight again. Or you can do like I've done, because I forget until the very last minute that this guy has a warped leg, and you just take him and show him anyways. And some judges won't even notice, like he's gotten first out of a large number of horses, even though his leg is warped. So you could show him like that still, as long as it's not glaringly obvious that, his leg is completely screwed from the side. You can get away with still showing them if you don't have the time or the ambition or the know-how to actually fix the problem. And then if you have one that, say, you want to show in collectability, and on its show side, it's a very nice representation of the age of the model and the mold, but then your other side, you have where the plastic is trying to crack. You could still show in your collectability class, just face this side out and hope that, the judge doesn't look and see the cracking plastic on her hip. Or you could go, okay, well, I just noticed that. I'm not going to show her. I'll pick somebody else. Or you just show her. Because every judge is different on what they'll actually look for. Now, let's say the show you're going to is very large and they offer a multitude of classes and everybody is divided up by size and scale and make. And your show offers a goofs class. So a class for horses that weren't supposed to be made the way they were made, or that horse, for whatever reason, was made different. Now, if you have two of them, it would make it easy for you that you wouldn't have to go online and print out what the horse is supposed to look like versus what yours looks like. So if you have two, some judges will allow you to bring up your original, the one that you're actually showing, and a reference of what a normal one is. So like this guy, you can see his one side, nice and green, but then his other side is not. It's got this funky, coppery, smoky color to it. And he was that way when I pulled him out of the bag. So it's quite odd. He just has this funky red hue. So I could show him in a regular collectability class for special runs or chase horses or whatever, or I could show him as a goof, because he is not supposed to look like this. He's supposed to look like this. So I would just ask the judge if, they would like me to put up what the horse is supposed to look like and him, and just mark reference horse, put a little tag in front of him or on him that says reference, and then put him up with the show card. It all depends on what the judge wants and if the judge will let you do that. Otherwise, if you want to take the time and you can do it, just go ahead and go online to identify your Breyer, and you can find that horse, find a picture of what it should look like, and then put yours up with that paper. Now, let's say that you want to show somebody as a special run or a limited edition, but you're not sure where to put it. So, like the show I'm going to, they don't have a fantasy class. So they don't have anything for unicorns or Pegasus or decorators. So I would go, okay, if I can't figure out exactly which class it should go in, I'll contact the show holder and go, hey, what class would you like this type of model in, or that type of model? And just go from there. And you can always, if you're not comfortable contacting the show holder, you can wait till the day of the show. Just go ahead and take them with you, have a card ready for them and their little reference sheet. And when you get up there, ask the judge for that class if you can put that horse in that class, or the show holder if the show holder is on site. You can ask them then if you're not comfortable doing it online or over the phone. Just go ahead and take it with you and have him ready as if you were going to show him. And if you need to, you can just scratch out the class number that you were going to put him in. If the show holder or judge says that they don't want them in that class, they want them in a different class. And I think that, let's go over customs that are not real colors. So, like him, occasionally you'll have a customs class that's for fantasy or non-realistic. Now, if you don't have something that's for fantasy or non-realistic, as far as showing the halter side, you could show in just workmanship under fantasy or unrealistic. Again, it depends on what your show is offering to where something like that would go. Same with, your just colored variations to ones that have stuff on them. It just depends on what your show is offering and where they want each horse to, I guess, who you take and where you put them. So biggest takeaway from that is just, if you have questions on the class list, contact your show holder. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Or sometimes they'll ask you to contact the judge for that specific division, and they'll tell you where they would like that horse. Just makes it easy. Contact beforehand if you can. If you can't, ask as soon as you get to the show and you're setting up, so that you're not, waiting last minute and going up and going, hey, can I put this here? And they're like, oh, no, it should have gone in the class that was 3 classes ago. Just so that you don't miss a class or miss a horse going into a class. So these are just some things that I wish I knew when I first started showing versus several years later. Make sure that you got your class list, make sure you got your cards ready, make sure you have your reference material ready, and then just double check everybody as you pack them up. I think that's about it. If you guys have any other questions that you'd like me to go over, just shoot me a message and I can go over that and I'll make another video. But anyway, thanks for watching.